Hey, welcome to the Show Bam Show. I'm Sage, and we have Tanya on here and Scott. And on the Show Bam Show, we celebrate startup culture, projects, and mental health. So today, Scott, would you like to tell us about your bipolar project and what is it?
Sure. Well, again, thank you so much for this opportunity, Sage and Tanya. I just told them before we hit record, I'm grateful for this opportunity. And yeah, in terms
We're
of,
so lucky to have you on the show.
oh, thanks. No, I just, because like I told them, it takes a lot of work to do what they're both doing. And, I have a YouTube channel, so I know how much time and effort that is to do, and having social media for this. So yeah, I just really have so much respect and gratitude for both of these two wonderful women to be doing what they're doing. And
Thank you.
oh, my
What
pleasure.
is that at you?
Well, thank you. And to answer your question, Sage, in terms of my bipolar project, so I actually frame it in a different way, where essentially I consider myself a mental health advocate. I've been leading mental health advocacy events since 2015. And the most well-known event that I lead and organize is an annual hiking fundraiser, and it's an awareness event as well. And so this year, it's the seventh annual bipolar awareness fundraising hike, and it's called Banff 24 Hours for Bipolar. And it's happening the last weekend in July. So it's August long weekend. It's July 31st and August 1st. And honestly, for me personally, that event is the highlight of my year. I absolutely love it. I'm fortunate to have friends join me hiking for the full 24 hours. And just we take a break every 6 hours for about 20 minutes. So we're not hiking nonstop for 24 hours, but still we last 2 years in that event, I personally did 15 laps of tunnel, both
Whoa.
events. So as you know, for people who don't know, Tunnel Mountain it's a smaller mountain in Banff. It's dwarfed by the big ones. And a lot of people say, oh, that's a boring hike. That's an easy hike. Yes,
We
it
call that
is.
the hill and Banff.
Totally. Like it is a very easy hike. However, I personally don't find it a boring hike. There's amazing views on the back. And especially if you hit it at sunrise or sunset, there's incredible light. And so, yeah, I mean, 15 times a tunnel, that equates to 58 kilometers and well over 10,000 feet of vertical. So basically, like last year, I did the equivalent of Rundle almost 3 times during the 24-hour event.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah,
How
well,
can people
thanks.
get involved if they want to like join or go hiking or spot or help out? How can people get involved in this?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, I mean, right now, because of pandemic guidelines, we don't know for sure if people will be allowed to join us. It's like last 2 years when it was pre-pandemic time, people would
Makes
come
sense.
in, people would come and join for 1 lap or 2 laps, or some people would come for 1 lap and then come later on in the event for another lap. Some people would come to the event just to say hi. We had Athena Pizza last year. They surprised me.
Yummy.
My two of my friends who did the hike or organized it, but they brought us free pizza and beer right at the end of the hike. And I'm
Yum.
personally a non-drinker, but the pizza, I just inhaled it. It was so good. So for this year, it's a wait and see. We had originally planned to do it June 19th and 20th. And because of the guidelines changing last week with the Alberta government, we pushed it back because prior to that announcement by the government, it was 10 people or less for outdoor events. So our plan was there's 8 of us that were going to do the full 24 hours. And then we're fortunate that we have a number of photographers that are going to come out. So what I was telling people is that it's just us 10, including the 8 people hiking and 1 or 2 photographers per lap. For end of July, we don't know. I mean, if it's still a cap of 10, it'll be the same plan. If it's say up to 50 people, then we're just inviting whoever. And of course, it depends who's
That's
comfortable. Like obviously, the only people coming to that event, putting the intention out there that they can join, will be people who are comfortable doing an event in this interesting time we're in right now. But
all
yeah,
I gotta
so
say is if the number increases, I want to sign up right now.
oh,
That's
cool.
the
Awesome.
thing.
Oh, and you don't have to sign up. Like honestly, it's come and go. Like we'll be starting on Saturday, July 31st at 5 p.m. And that's from the St. Julian Road parking lot, the actual start of the trail. And we finish at Sunday, the next day, August 1st at 5 p.m. So essentially on social media, myself and friends of mine will be posting updates like, oh, we're just leaving the top or we're just leaving the bottom, that sort of thing. We don't have set times. Like we don't say, okay, every lap starts in 2 hours or whatever. It's a really kind
It's
of
just go when you
flowy.
can.
Yeah, and for us too, it's a flowy event. I don't like having schedules to begin with in my life. Obviously I do have schedules for lots of things. However, for that event, I like that we just kind of we go when we're ready. And then like if someone comes and they're talking to us, we're not rushed because we have to start the lap at 2 p.m., like one year we did 2017, we did sulfur 9.0. So both you might find this interesting. We were fortunate to be connected with someone who works for um, Pursuit. So what this gentleman did is
Love
he gave,
Pursuit.
Pursuit is the company that owns the Banff Gondola.
Yeah.
So it is all arranged ahead of time. So essentially, this amazing person gave me and three friends unlimited VIP gondola passes for one day. So,
Whoa.
so it was so cool because it was Sulfur 9.0, as you can maybe guess. Like, what do you think the 9 stands for?
Did you go up 9 times and go down the gondola, gain that amazing view?
Yeah, so exactly.
That
So the way it worked is we started super early. We started hiking at 4:45 a.m. So we hiked up and hiked down the first lap. And then from
love that
laps
hike.
and then for laps 2 through 9 we hiked up, and then when we got to the gondola station with VIP access, we went straight to the front of the line and took the gondola down.
That is incredible. And what inspired this project? And how'd you get all these connections and like how'd you build this up?
Thanks for asking. I mean, it's I guess how it started, the original start was 2014. On my own, I did a 5K running event in Calgary. So it was a fundraiser for some charity. I forget which one. And I ran in that event and I wore this bright yellow shirt that says Stigma Busters. And that is a shirt that I received from the International Bipolar Foundation
People
because
must have like yellow.
some of them were. Yeah, I mean, it was hard. It was hard to lose me, that's for sure, wearing that bright yellow shirt.
You're like standing out, like
Totally.
no one would hit
Um,
you.
yeah, so that particular year, that's the first year, and my goal was number one to raise $500 or more for the International Bipolar Foundation, which I did. And then my second goal was to run 5K in under 20 minutes, which I've done before. So I didn't do that. I finished in 20 minutes, 20 seconds. But then I remember the next spring, so spring of 2015, because I used to be a server in Banff pre-pandemic. So I was working at Wild Bill's as a server, which is now
Oh,
Melissa's. And so a really good friend of mine, Masaki, he's born and raised in town. A lot of people know him, Masaki Yokota. So him and I were chatting one day. We were chatting about hikes that we wanted to do. And he said to me, he said, "Oh, have you ever thought about hiking the Four Peaks?" I'm like, "What Four Peaks?" He says, "Well, there have been people before that in one day had hiked Cascade, Rundle, Sulphur, and Tunnel." So
ooh.
when he said that to me, I just thought, "Holy crap, I couldn't do that." And he says, well, why don't you give it a thought, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I thought about it. And I think it was a day or two later, I said to him, Saki, I'd actually like to do that. And then I said to him, why don't we do this as a
Convinced
fundraiser?
you.
What's that?
He's convinced you. It's
Yeah,
happening.
well, I don't know if convinced. I will say though, he planted a big seed, that's for sure. And so I told him, I said, well, last year I did this 5K run, and maybe we could tie in the 4 peaks with a bipolar fundraiser, well, a mental health fundraiser and awareness. So yeah, so that first year, 2015, we just called it 4 peaks, and I was super fortunate. I ended up just through Banff, as you two both know, it's an incredibly supportive community. And
It sure is.
yeah, like, so one of my friends and coworkers, his name's Lee, um, he reached out to someone that he knew at the Cragen Canyon, sorry. And
You got it.
yeah, so that person interviewed me, and then someone at CTV, Bell Media, happened to read that article. Then I get an email from CTV Calgary saying, we want to interview you live on CTV Calgary.
Whoa, that's
So
huge.
it was massive. I'd never been interviewed on the TV live before. So Saki and I, the same guy, we drive into Calgary, and the interview, I'm wearing like a nice gold dress shirt, and I'm super nervous. I've got the earpiece in, and the producer's talking to me, and she's saying, okay, Scott, we're just going to chat for a little while, and I'll let you know when we're live. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're having this nice chat. I'm looking at a green screen because the person interviewing me is in Edmonton.
Oh, wow.
And
So you can't see
so,
the reactions or?
well, I could see her, like I could see her on a screen, but there's a green screen behind me though, right?
Yeah.
So we're chatting and it's all good. And then I thought she was going to tell me, oh, we're going live in 10 seconds or in 30 seconds. And then we're chatting, and
Were
then she
you
says,
live
oh,
the
we're,
whole time?
what's that?
Were you live the whole time?
Oh, no, we were just chatting. And then all of a sudden, she just, in the earpiece, I hear, oh, we're live. And I go like this. I'm like, and when I saw the replay of my interview, I was total deer in the headlights, because I had no idea it was just going to be that sudden. And the interview went okay. I was fairly well spoken, and unfortunately, that interview, they didn't post it on social media or anything, so it's gone. Like, you can't watch it anymore. But basically, that's how it started, and then since then, it's now going
Now
on
you're an
7.
expert.
Pardon me?
You just started this interview like this, so that's good.
Yeah, I recovered well, because like I said, I was so nervous to begin with, and then I was total deer in the headlights when they said live. I guess fortunately now it's going on the 7th year for the hike. We've had the first 4 years we did something different every year. So first year was 4 Peaks Banff, second year was 4 Peaks Canmore, third year was Sulphur 9.0, and the fourth year was 6 Peaks Lake Louise. But the last 3 years we've done 24-hour hikes on tunnel, and yeah, it's just more and
That's
more people.
incredible.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, just more and more people have gotten to know about it. Last year, my friend Cheryl Ello helped. Well, she spearheaded a silent auction for the first time, and that was local and non-local companies. So because of that, we had more and more local companies get involved last year. And yeah, we've already planned out the silent auction for this year. It's on hold right now, just because we're not going to reach out to companies until early June. And especially too, like right now, being in pretty well lockdown again, I don't want to reach out to companies right now for donations, because some businesses are unfortunately really, really, really hurting right now. But on a positive note, a friend of mine manages a store in town. I'll just keep it private for now, and I'm actually going to that store actually after this call to pick up
That's
a package, a silent auction package. So that'll be our first package for this year.
that is really, really cool. And I love that. And I love how you're thinking about the other businesses and all the different sides to it. So I have to ask, what is bipolar? Because I actually don't know.
Well, it's a great question, and I appreciate your honesty. So we all know someone who's moody, someone who has bad days and then really happy days. And I would never discount anyone who is moody. The reason I say that is, in my experience, more and more people nowadays are asking me about a friend or themselves that's moody and saying, "Hey, could that be bipolar?" And it's a fair question. And again, I would never discount someone's moods, but I would say that in my experience, the difference between someone who's moody and someone who's actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder is about 10, 20, or 50 times. So someone who's been diagnosed with bipolar, like I'm bipolar type 1. So I have had extremely high highs and extremely low lows. So my low lows, I've been near suicidal, had major depression handful of times. My high highs are what's called manic episodes. And I've been in the hospital 4 times for manic episodes where I'm actually in a psych ward, and the staff is, and doctors and nurses and psychiatrists are doing everything they can to slow my mind down and to get me healthy and mentally stable. So so essentially that's what bipolar is. And then some people think if someone's been diagnosed with bipolar that they're either really high or really low, and only those two. And that is 100% incorrect. There's people that have a tendency to be, unfortunately, on the depressive side, like a mildly depressive state. Like I know some people, and I used to be chronically depressed for years. However, it was a mild depression. Um,
Wow.
but like for me now, I'm pretty fortunate that most of the time I'm pretty stable. I'm actually slightly on the it's called hypomanic, which is mild mania. I'm actually slightly hypomanic quite a bit of the time. However, I have tools to be able to slow my mind down and get to sleep. Well, I will admit though, since this pandemic started, I've really struggled with depression at times the last 15 months, 14 months, whatever it is. Just everything we're going through. It's been an extremely mentally challenging time for a lot of people. So for anyone listening that has struggled mentally the last 14 months, my heart goes out to you, and I am the same. Uh, yeah,
Mhm.
or I have been the same. Fortunately, right now I'm very mentally stable. However, yeah, in the last 14 months, I've had some pretty serious depression at times.
I can't thank you enough for like being open and sharing this information because it's true. Like COVID's been hard and like dealing with that. How do you cope, or what strategies do you come up with to like help get out you all these depressions?
Great question. There's a lot of tools I have. I would say that the most frequent tools that I use are, I have something that I created called the Lift Me Up file.
Ooh,
And
what's in there?
so it's a digital file in my email, my personal email. And what the Lift Me Up file is
Mm.
it's emails, texts, messages, or transcribed phone call messages that I've received from family and or friends. And it's where they've said something really good about me. So what I love about that is I've got over 200 messages in that folder. I can click on a message, and it's not me telling myself about me. It's someone else that I know that has said something really positive about me. So that really helps me to feel better when I'm having a bad day and feeling depressed, is the Lift Me Up file. And then the second tool that I use the most besides Lift Me Up file is I do a lot of energy work. And when I do energy work for someone else, I know that's struggling. What's good about that is it takes me out of my own head and my problems and my depression, and it forces me to help someone else. And when I do energy work, it's all for their highest and best, and they don't know they're receiving it. So I just do it virtually. I don't tell them I've done it. I know they benefited from it, and also I benefit because it's taken my head out of my depression and helped support someone else. So those are my two top tools for getting out of mild depression. And obviously the times I've been in major depression, at that point, it's really, I just got to get out of bed, or I've got to have a shower, or I've got to get outside of the house. That's for
Yeah,
major depression. Yeah.
that is incredible. And I love your tools. And I actually use similar ones. Like that is brilliant
Oh,
right there.
cool. Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me you use those, Sage, because I mean, I don't know you really, but I do get the sense that you're a very intelligent woman. So,
Oh, thank you so much.
no, you're welcome. No, just being honest. I'm not just saying that to, blow smoke up your butt. That's being honest. So,
Thank you. I on my computer or even by my bed, I have like books of all the amazing things people have said over the years, or
oh,
even we have
wow.
a book of funny things the kids have done. And whenever I'm feeling sad, I open it up. It's just like this, it just makes me so happy. It's just like it I know exactly what you mean, or even getting like good for you for like getting out, knowing what you need, and like mentally like figuring out where you're at and what you need to do. Like that's incredible.
Oh,
And
thanks. Well, you're doing it yourself. So, I mean, kudos to you. But thank you though.
thank you. I just realized we only got like a couple more minutes, and then yeah. Is there anything like you'd like to say to your audience, or how can they find you before we like stop the recording?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Thanks for asking, Sage. So the easiest way to find me is on my website. And then my website has links to my YouTube and social media and etc. So my website is a unique name. Some people may have never heard this word before. And my website is tiaho.org. And Tiaho is spelled Tiaho. So Tiaho is a Maori word, which is an indigenous New Zealand word. And yeah, so if people go to tiaho.org, and actually right on my homepage of that website, it actually has the Lift Me Up toolkit that I've developed. It is an opt-in, so some people like opt-in, some don't. But bottom line is, if someone opts in to get the toolkit and then they instantly unsubscribe, it doesn't bother me, honestly. Obviously, I'd prefer they stay on my email list, but you can see the Lift Me Up toolkit. And I highly suggest anyone watching that resonates with what Sage shared about what she does and what I shared about the two tools. That's two tools out of 15 or 16 in that toolkit. And what I love about that toolkit is it's kind of like a menu. It's very short PDF. Someone can open that up. It takes 20 minutes total to go through the whole PDF. It's like 8 pages. And someone can go through the tools, skim them, and pick out the ones that resonate with them. And that way they can actually use them if and when required to help lift their mood when they're feeling mildly depressed. So I'd highly encourage anyone watching to consider that toolkit and check out my website. And yeah, and then for any of you in Banff, Canmore, Calgary area, keep an eye out on that website in early July, because by early July, we will know what's happening with the health guidelines, and we will know exactly what's happening, or most likely know, I'll just say, what's going to be happening with Banff 24 Hours for Bipolar for this year, which again is at the end of July. So
Well, everyone keep your eyes out for the bipolar project, because that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And again, I just really grateful to be interviewed here today. And I'll just say one last thing. If anyone watching knows somebody that has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, or they have a family member or friend, consider sharing this video with them. They might get a little bit of optimism, and they might actually learn something that might help them. So that's the other thing I'll mention. And yeah, and again, thanks to both you and Tanya for this opportunity.
Thank you, and for sharing your advice, like helping people out. Like I love what you're doing. Like don't stop. And to everyone watching, thank you for watching, and bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.